Hello. So we'll continue on from our previous example where we had a custom table, a custom cell, and that custom cell was created as an outside file, right? And we had a custom nib file. Now, what we want to do is that what if the cell wants to talk back to the table view, right? So how to do that? So basically, let me show you just a simple example. Let's add a button. Let's add a button here. Oh, sorry. Let's add a button. Oops. Let's add a button to the table view. Here we are. Or to the cell, right? Here we are. I'll just say give it some simple constraints. Here we are. And let's call this the delete button so that it's related to some assignment that you're working on. Okay, so basically we are here. Very nice. So now we can go here and we can add an action to that button. So basically I can go boom like this. Add another function. I could say delete button clicked, right? And basically I'll say print, and I'll say here delete button clicked, just to indicate that the button has been clicked. So now when I run it, you'll see that there will be a button, and when you click the button in the cell, it just says that the button has been clicked. Very nice. So you could see here, I click on the button and it says it's clicked, right? The delete button clicked. Very nice. So you could see that the event is happening. Now, what if I want to bubble that event up to the let's make it a little bit wider. Oh, we don't have a reference. Yeah. Okay, we are not concerned with the size for the time being, but let's say when we click on the delete, I want to bubble up that delete to the table, the view controller. You know, I want to tell that the view controller that I have clicked. So one of the easy ways of doing that is creating a delegate, and that delegate you pass it on to the cell, and then the delegate is used to enable the communication between the cell and the table view. So now how do we do this delegate business? So to do this, the cell defines a protocol. So basically let's define a protocol, okay, and we'll say, for example, custom table view cell, and we'll call it protocol or delegate, right? Okay, and that delegate has one function. That function will say, for example, delete button clicked. Let's say it has no parameters, just for the time being, and basically, and it will return nothing. So basically that's the description of the delete button clicked. So basically what's going to happen is that the delegate, okay, is a protocol, right? And then the cell will expect to be passed that delegate. So basically we'll say var delegate, which is somebody that implements this custom table view cell. Sorry, the delegate. Somebody that implements the delegate. So basically what happens is that each cell will be passed an implementation of the delegate that it can use to communicate back. Okay, now this delegate, or whoever implements the delegate, needs to implement this protocol, right? It means it needs to implement this delete button clicked function, right? Or let's say, to avoid confusion between this function and this function, so that you could see what or delete, or we'll just say delete is clicked. Okay, the delete is clicked. Okay, so it's a different function name, just for you to see what it is. So who's going to implement this delegate? So basically, let's say the view controller is going to implement this delegate. So how do we do that? The same story. We go here, so extension, view controller, and then we say the delegate, right? So cell, what is the name of the delegate? Let's go back again. This is the name of the delegate, right? The custom, let's say custom table view delegate. Here we are. And then we need to implement the function, which is called, right? So we go here and we add it, and this is the function, right? The delete being clicked. So basically I could just go here and could say print, and I could say delete clicked. Now, how do I get to call this function? So what I could do is, when I create the cell, so basically now the view controller implements delegate, right? So now when you're creating these cells, you remember we added in the cell a delegate, right? We added in the cell a delegate variable, and that delegate variable is of type custom table view cell delegate, right? Now when you go here, when you're creating your cell, so when here you have access to the cell, what you could do is we could say cell dot delegate equals self. What is self? Self is the view controller, which actually implements the delegate, right? Okay, so now what's going to happen is that when you click the button, we're going to call this function here, the delete button clicked. Now I want to also notify the delegate, so I could say delegate dot delete clicked. Okay, when I run it, and you'll see that when I click on the delete button here, this print is printed by the cell, right? And then we call the delegate dot delete clicked, which is here, and it prints this one, right? Now, very nice. So now there is an interesting question that arises, is that how do I identify which cell has been clicked, right? So how do I identify that this cell has been clicked, or this delete inside that cell is the one that get clicked? The interesting part is that if you have, if the interesting trick is that if we have a UI cell view and we pass it to the table view could tell us what is the index path. So basically, to be able to identify which one was clicked, I just need to find out what is the index path, right? So now what I could do is that, what I mean is that if you have a table view, say, let's say we have the table view, right? Self.tableview dot, I'm still in the view controller. And then when you look at index path functions, you will see that there is one index path function that you can get the index path by here it is. See, you can index path and you pass it the table view cell. So basically, if you give it the table view cell, you can retrieve the index path from the table view. Okay, so how do I do that? So basically, I need to change this function. So I need to change this function to delete click to pass the table view cell, right? Right. So I could say cell is UI table view cell, right? So I changed the delete clicked method, right? And then here, instead of just the delegate dot delete clicked, I'll pass it the cell. What is the cell? Self, because you see this extends UITableView cell. I'll just say self. Okay, and then of course I have to change the implementation into, I had to add this method into here because this method has no parameter, right? But the one that we created has a parameter. So I'll say function or delete. Okay, so basically it should indicate that it's not let me build. Okay, here it is. It should say that it doesn't conform. We go here, we fix it, and here we are. So now you could see that now when you click the button, the delegate is gonna get called with this table view cell. Now because I have the table view cell, I could say let the index path equals self.tableview dot index path with table view cell, which is the cell, and I'll just print the index path. So now if I have the index path, I can do anything now, right? I can go and retrieve things, I can delete it and whatever, right? All right, so now we run it again. And you can see that when I click the delete button, so I'm clicking the first delete button, right? So the index path is 0, 0, right? Click here, the index path is 0, 0. You click on the second one, the index path is 0, 1. The third one, 0, 2, 0, 3, 0, 4, 0, 5, 0, 6, and so on. So basically, this delegate idea is a mechanism to enable the communication between these two components, which is the view control or the view controller and the cell, right? So the cell creates the cell describes what the protocol is, right? It has a function. That function is called delete clicked, and then we create a variable here which is of type of the protocol, right? It's a delegate parameter, and it's of type of the protocol, right? And then when you click or you want to talk back, you just say delegate dot delete clicked, or you can have other methods here too. And then the view controller implements this delegate or this protocol. It implements the protocol and then pay attention that we have to indicate to the cell who is its delegate, which is self. Self meaning that it's this, the instance of this object, the instance of this class, which is this object, and because it extends the delegate, okay, or it implements this delegate. I hope this was useful, and please let me know if you have any questions. Thank you.